Hey, what is up, everybody? I am here to give you my Fear the Walking Dead review from last week. You've been probably wondering why I haven't been doing this. It's actually been about 2 weeks since I've done a Fear the Walking Dead review. It's actually been 2 weeks since I've recorded a video on this channel. Um, yeah, I've just been really busy lately with school and other things like that, so I haven't really had time to sit down and record videos. I am going to try to sit down sometime this week and get some videos up here for you guys. It's just going to take some time. Um, but yeah, Fear the Walking Dead. I'm going to try to So I'm reviewing last week's. I know it doesn't make any sense, but I really didn't have a chance to watch last week's episode um, until today. So I'm doing it now. Um, and I think at some point this week I'll try to sit down and watch this week's episode. Um, but let's just get right into it. Okay, so this is season 1, episode 4, and the episode is called "Not Fade Away." Um, and this episode, this episode came out on September 20th, 2015. Um, and the episode kicks off with everybody just it kicks off when you see like a montage of people just doing the stuff that they would normally do if there wasn't a zombie apocalypse going on. Nick was swimming in the pool. Travis was jogging. So, and they even played the song like "A Good Day," like "It's Always a Good Day." I don't know the lyrics of the song, but they were playing like that type of song. I originally thought it was a flashback when Travis was jogging, but no, it was actually happening because normally, before they show like stuff that's happened before a zombie apocalypse. Even though this is technically before, but you know what I'm saying. Um, and we see that Chris is on the roof, and he's just filming. He's doing like a documentary about this, where he's holding the camera and he's like talking to it. Just kind of like I do when it comes to making YouTube videos. Um, and Chris is. We find out that they have like this fence up in their neighborhood. Um, we're gonna find out why later, but they have a fence up there now. And Chris says it's been 9 days since this has happened, and they have no electricity, no phones, none of that stuff. It's been 9 days since it's happened, and Chris says like it's all good, like it's all good stuff. They're taking care of us and all that stuff. The military base, and then he sees somebody do Morph's code, which is like when you would like flash a light 3 times, and that usually means you single in for help. You see somebody do that outside the fence. Now this is important because I didn't say this. Nobody's alive. Everybody is dead outside the fence. Everyone's either dead or infected. So the fact that was happening means that it's not everybody is dead or infected. So Chris obviously thinks that this is weird. So he even says, "Hello." So then it cut to the theme song, and then Madison. Now they have this clock where it says power on or off, and Travis comes in, and Madison and Travis get into a little argument because about what's going on with this town and how Madison constantly has to do everything, like take care and keep an eye on Nick, make sure he's not doing any of those drugs or anything like that. And Travis is out trying to be like the man of the people and trying to play around with that. He says, "I'm not playing," and we find out too that like the main governor, the main one of the military people are gonna make like an announcement about this town. And they're arguing, and Alicia's like, "You act like this is all normal, but it's not normal. It's not." And then we see Ophelia comes up, and she's like, "Hi." I thought that was kind of funny. And then they get to that announcement, and they make the announcement. No, that's not what happens next. Next, what happens is Travis goes to see Chris, and Chris shows him Morph's code, but Travis just thinks it's like the sun shining somewhere. But obviously we know that's not the case. So, yeah. And then they make the announcement, and one of the guys, I don't know his name, was trying to read off like what's happening. They say there's no like this is like one of the safest places 6 miles away, which is pretty cool. And he's trying to read like if you try to leave, you're kicked out of out of the fence, and then everyone just keeps asking questions like like questions you should be asking when you're scared, and then Ophelia asked like when you're gonna get the medicine you promised us, because they were supposed to give her medicine because her mom is injured because that thing fell on her foot in the last episode. Um, and they didn't really give her much of an answer. They all just say just calm. They all pretty much just tell him to calm down and just stay calm and just calm down pretty much. And then they have to see. I guess they have to like see who the new. They're just trying to like make a head count of who's there, so everyone's trying to ask. And Ophelia goes up to this guy, and his name. I have his name right here. His name is Andrew Adams. And Andrew kind of flirts with her, so this is gonna get used later on. And then we see another guy. I don't know his name. And it's the guy that was making the announcement, and he says, "Hey, your buddy. Well, there's this guy named Doug that is just not feeling this. He's losing it pretty much. He's not like losing it like he's infected, but he just doesn't. He's not taking this very well. So he wants Travis to talk to him." And Travis says he hardly knows the guy. He's like, well, either you talk him down or I'll shoot him down. And Travis goes to talk to this guy, goes to talk to Doug, and he meets his wife. We meet his wife, Marie, and his kids. And he talks to Marie. No, he talks to Doug, and Doug says that he can't do this. He can't tell, because I guess he has to tell, like, the military that he's okay. I guess they're they're having doctors check on and make sure that they're okay, because what's happening is they're taking like the sick people. We don't find this is gonna be a little bit of a spoiler, but they take the sick people and put them in some other place where they can't infect anybody. I think Doug has it, so he doesn't want it to him to get it. Let me make sure that I have that right before. Hold on. Yeah, and Travis is a civilian. Whatever, like a civilian, Elazon, but he's the man of the people, pretty much. Uh, oh no, I couldn't. Yeah, it doesn't tell you. Oh, hold on. But yeah, he talks Doug into getting mental therapy. That's what pretty much happened. Um, then what happened now? Oh, well, but this happened before. But Madison goes to see Travis because he has to take this pill that from the last episodes, and he hasn't been taking them. So, and Madison, something's wrong. She's really changed in this episode. You're gonna see it a lot more in the episode later on, but she really changes in this episode. And then trying to remember what happened next. Alicia goes to I think Patrick's house, and she has this note that gonna find out later on what it is, and she looks at the symbol that Patrick drew on it in the first episode, and this is pretty much a symbol like what this signal was gonna be, and I think like what the letter was gonna be, because pretty much that's how we knew. I forgot about it because I completely forgot that he drew that symbol because I hadn't watched the show in a while. And then what happened next? I just can't. I'm trying to like do it chronologically. Sorry. I believe what happens next is Ophelia is kissing Adam. Well, Andrew. and she asks him if he got the medicine for her mom, and he says that he couldn't get it because it's packed tight and it's guarded really tight, and she's upset about this. So I think she was using this guy so she can get this medicine. I don't think she really likes this guy that much. That's what it seemed. That's what it seemed like to me here. Um, and Chris tells Madison about the Morph's code thing, and Madison acts like that she believes him when he shows her, and then Madison Madison and Travis are about to have sex, and Madison acts like she's walking off, and Travis asks what's going on and with you, and Madison's just she pretty much doesn't think that that the military is really helping that much because there's no phone lines because the military possibly doesn't want the phone lines on, and she says that it's a possibility that everything that I just said, how there's no phone lines, no power, and all that stuff. And Travis says, well, why don't you don't need, and Travis says, well, you're just getting over your head. You don't need to pay attention to Nick all the time and all that stuff. And Travis says, and he was drinking too. I thought he was going to be drunk at first, but he did act pretty normal, but I thought he was. He probably would have if he continued. And Madison says, well, why did you pay more attention to Chris? And he's like, well, I do. And he's like, in a positive way. And she tells Travis that she believes him about this Morph's code thing. And Travis tells her that you're getting a little paranoid. I don't want you to get paranoid like I don't want Chris to get paranoid. And then Maria screams to Travis, saying because Doug disappeared. He took his car and left, and you have like a curfew every night too in this place too, and you're not supposed to drive your car, so they're obviously worried about this. So Travis is gonna go look for him, and earlier in this episode too, I forgot to mention this. Liza, has been faking, that she's a nurse. She went to Hector's house, and she's taking care of Hector has a wife named Cynthia, and Hector's not doing very well. He's like sick. I don't know what's wrong with him really. But she's been faking that she's a nurse, and she's been giving him all this stuff. And he had like this tank that he, like, I guess an oxygen tank, and Travis, when everybody leaves and like attaches it to his, like, in between his big toe. It was weird. But I can't even explain it really. I guess it was. I guess the drugs that he had is the drugs that Travis uses. No, not Nick uses. So that was weird. But then Madison is trying to use Murph's code on the roof, where Chris was when he saw it, and it doesn't work. And then Travis is trying to find Doug, and he just sees his car. I'm assuming that was his car because he got really freaked out when he saw it. And then Travis tells like one of the military about it, somebody in the military about it. And he's actually playing golf, and this reminded me of the scene when the governor and what's his name from The Walking Dead. It was Dale's brother. I'm trying to remember his name. I forget his name off the top of my head. It's been so long since I've seen that. It's been a little while since I've seen that season. But it reminded me when the governor was playing golf, and they had this exact same conversation. They pretty much ripped it off, but they can rip it off because they wrote, the people that write this show are the same people that write The Walking Dead. It reminded me exactly of that scene. But this guy is hitting golf balls, and Travis tells him that Doug disappeared, and the guy says, well, Doug didn't disappear, like he thinks he's just missing, so he wants the guys to go look for him. And the guy says, well, he just kind of drove off and was losing it, so we had him go to the what's it called, the headquarters. They're gonna go to the military headquarters because they can't afford to have it in the fence. And then he tells them about the Morph's code thing, and they say, well, nobody's out there, like acting like we're supposed to be suspicious that he knows something because he says it really weird. Um, and your son's just being crazy. So I feel like he does know something about this. And then Madison sneaks out of the fence. She uses bolt cutters, I think they're called, to cut her way out of the fence. And she goes and she sees all the dead bodies, and they're all dead. And I was asking, like, why aren't they, like, you'd think they would be zombies, but I'm guessing what's happened is the military is going in and shooting all these zombies in the heads, obviously. And yeah, that's that happens. And we see Alicia's back at the place, and she's, I guess, stabbing like a needle into herself. And Liza goes back to Hector's house, and Hector's not there. And he asks, and we meet this new character, and I have to look up her name because I forget it. Her name is Dr. Bethany Exner. I'm just gonna call her Dr. Exner says that, like, they had to get him out of there because it was right for him. Because he would have died if he stayed there. They sent him into this They sent him, I think, the same place they sent Doug. It's like this place where they send sick people, and they go talk privately without Cynthia, and Liza. Sorry, I forgot Liza's name for a second there. Liza says that it tells her all the stuff that she's been doing since she's met these patients, and she's apparently been 4 other patients. And then Dr. Exner says, "You're not a real doctor, are you? You're like, this is impressive, but you're not a real doctor, are you?" And that was like a bitch thing to say. But Liza says that I had to do this because to get her to trust me because he would have died, and she said she understands. And Dr. Exner said she wants her to be a doc. She wants her to pretend for a little longer. So then, what happens next? Next, I don't think. Well, I'm probably a little off. I'm just gonna go with what I remember. They're back at Daniel's place, the barber, and they say that they have to take Ophelia's mom. I have to look up her name. It's actually on here. Guelzda. I don't know how to Salazar. I don't know how to say her last name. So Guelza, they have to take her in for surgery. She'll pretty much die, lose her foot if they don't take her into surgery. And hold on. And Daniel wants to go with her because he's her husband, and Dr. Exner agrees, and then Madison comes back and tells Daniel that she went outside the place and saw the dead bodies that were infected, but she saw people shooting people that weren't even infected. And Daniel tells him about this story about how these people disappeared in this country, and his father asked him why this happened, and he said that they'll be back. And when Daniel was fishing as a little boy, he saw the bodies, and they pretty much just threw these dead bodies in the river. Which I thought was pretty cool. That Daniel had to see that at that young, but he was in El Salvador. I'm not really too sure about how El Salvador is, but and then he says, "Well, my father said that people do evil things out of fear, sometimes, which is true." But he says that's not the way to think. Like, the people just do evil things, or there are people that are just evil, or people who do evil things out of fear. And Daniel tells Madison that he wants her to take care of Ophelia while he's with his wife getting surgery done. And Madison's like, but she's a grown woman. She can take care of herself. She's like, please take care of her. And then afterwards, Nick is looking for drug. I'm assuming drugs, cause you know. So Madison comes in there, and Chris is like, okay, what are you gonna say? Alright, okay, what should I say? And Madison just slaps him and just slaps the shit out of him multiple times. I thought it was great. I don't really like Nick that much. He's just kind of like a pussy. That's just what I think. And then Alicia sees what happened to him in the next scene, and actually before this happened, I forgot to mention this. I'm sorry. I haven't done this in a couple of weeks. And I don't know. I'm bad with names. Dr. Exner, and Liza see that check on Chris too because they think he's sick. But yeah. Then Alicia sees what happened to Chris, and she asks what happens, but he won't say. And then no, not Chris, Nick. I always see. I'm bad with names. And then Madison's crying, and then in the car because she's obviously broken up. She really changed a lot. I really liked her in this episode. And then the military take Ophelia's mom, I'm just gonna call her, to the hospital. Ophelia's mom, which is her name is Griseldel Salazar, I think is how you say it. To the hospital, and when Daniel tries to go with her, they don't let her. And Matt's like, it's okay, that's her husband, it's his wife. And one of the military guys say, well, we have two people on the list, and he's like, yeah, Daniel, yeah, my name too. And he's like, no, Nicholas Cloak. So then Nick tries to escape, but the military surround him, and one of them hits him off the head with his sniper. I'm just guessing what it is. And they take away Chris, and no, not Chris. They take Nick away. I'm sorry. And then they attack Daniel, and Travis like, careful, this is just a kid and an old man. And then Madison tries to tell him that Chris isn't sick, but he tries to tell him that her son Nick isn't sick. And Liza tries to tell him the same thing, but Dr. Exner gives Liza a choice to either come with her, or stay here. But if you come with, there's people that need you there. You need to save the sick people. And Liza chooses to go with them. She tells Chris, I love him. I love her. I love you, through the window, and leaves. And Madison tries to get through and sees that Liza's on the thin. So when she gets back in the house, she tells Travis that Liza did this. Which is kind of true, because she did kind of cause this. Because this would have never happened. And then at the end, Alicia's reading a note that she wrote to Matt, talking about how she loves her, how she loves him, and all that stuff, and how she saw something that that God couldn't witness, referencing the zombies. And Travis goes to stand on the roof, and he sees Morph's code being played in that place. But what actually is happening is he hears gunshots, like somebody's being killed over there. So that's how the episode ended. I thought this episode was great. I really like the stuff with the Morph's code. I just thought it was a great episode overall. The stuff inside the fence, and I just thought it was great overall. I thought it was really good. But there's only 2 left, which is weird. So I guess they are gonna do 2 seasons. I figured they would just get this season, do 1 season. This would just be a 1-season show, but I was wrong. I thought this was gonna be. So I thought this was going to be more of a season. This can't go too long, because they eventually have to get to the point where they get into the Walking Dead's time, and then we pretty much already know what happened. So that kind of sucks. I kind Eventually, what I would like to see was I would like to see like a crossover once this show's over, and whoever's alive left, because obviously eventually it's gonna get so bad where it gets to the Walking Dead's point. Because right now it's not that bad. I mean, it's still like the world's still kind of over, but it's not like as bad as it is in the Walking Dead right now. They have like nurses and all that stuff, but eventually it's gonna get as bad as The Walking Dead, and I wonder if they're gonna do like a crossover with The Walking Dead's cast and whoever's left of the Fear the Walking Dead's cast, which would be really cool. Because then technically we would know who these people are and all that stuff. So I can't wait to see that. But that's my review of the show. If you want to check out my CM Brothers channel where I post other things, you can click right up here. And you can check out my friend James the He-Man Hebert's channel. It's called James Hebert. He makes vocal voiceovers of other people. You can click down below to check that out. And if you want to check out more future content of me on this channel, you can click down below to subscribe. And I'll try to make a video at some point this week.